Hi, Eric Wilson here, independent licensed mechanic with 30 years of experience. In the next 6 to 7 minutes, I'm going to show you the inside story in this 2006 Acura TL so you can make yourself an informed decision. Now, coming in on the front right tire, you got about 50% tread on all-season radio, so down but definitely not out. Now, coming behind the front right tire, first thing I want to point out is this is your outer CV boot. Now, it's full of grease, and if it was ripped, you'd see grease all over the place. So that is not. That is good, and that's intact and doing its job. Now, you see all the grease down here? This is a good sign, because this car's been well maintained. So this is your lower ball joint, and it is critical to be tight, because it's one of the two things that hold the wheel to the chassis. On your brakes, you've got about 20,000 K left in your front brakes. Now, okay, and just another quick visual. Now, this is the bottom of your transmission here. Now, this is the leak point, and you can see for yourself, good and dry, so no leaks on that. This is the bottom of your motor pan, of the oil pan right here, and here you can see for yourself. Okay, this is the bottom of the oil pan, and if it's going to leak, it's going to leak right along here, and that is good and dry. So that leak-wise, I'm not seeing any issue so far. Suspension-wise, I'm not seeing any issue so far. Now, this is the right upper ball joint, and that's critical as well because it holds the wheel to the chassis and it is tight. Your spring now, if you look in here, this tube right here is full of oil. And if it was leaking, you see it dripping all the way down there, and you can see for yourself, good and dry. So that spring suspension, that strut suspension there, and your spring right there intact, no cracks, no breaks. So far so good. Now, this here is the most critical part in the whole car because it's the outer right tie rod. Now, this is the only thing that holds the wheel to the steering, and this is tight, so that is critical. Now, this is your right sway bar link connected from here to here, and that is connected doing its job. So, leak-wise, spring-wise, suspension-wise, or brake-wise, I'm not seeing anything on the front right. Now, coming to the back, the rear right tire, you get about 10,000 K on your rear brakes, down but definitely not out. Coming to the right, okay, in the right rear tire, you got about 50% tread on all-season radio, so definitely got some tread left for the winter time there. Now, coming behind the front, the rear right tire, this right here, okay, this tube right here, little hard to see, this is the front, this is the rear shock. Now, if it was leaking, you see oil dripping all the way down here, and you can see for yourself, good and dry. All your connections, your lower, your tie rod links here are tight. This tie rod link here is tight. This is tight. Your exhaust, I don't see any breaks, any holes in your exhaust. In fact, it's very clean, actually, stainless steel, and lasts forever. That's a dual muffler system, so it's kind of cool. Yeah, so far, brake-wise, suspension-wise, leak-wise, I'm not seeing anything of any concern. Oh, and this is your right rear sway bar link connected from there to there, again, doing its job. Now, the sway bar is important as well because it slows down the sway, it dampens the sway when it goes around the corner. So, suspension-wise, brake-wise, leak-wise, and tire-wise, I'm not seeing anything on the rear right. Okay, coming in on the front left tire, down about 40% tread left on this, down but definitely not out on all season radios. Now, coming behind the front left, your left lower ball joint, see the grease? That's just because these have been greased and well maintained, so that's a good sign. This is your outer CV boot, again, full of grease. If it was ripped, you'd see it right away, so it's not ripped and doing its job. The brakes, about 20,000 K on your front brakes, a little less. Okay, you got 20,000 on your front brakes, about 10,000 on the rear. Okay, the left upper ball joint here, critical. It's tight. Your left shock, you see for yourself, good and dry, no leakage. Your spring suspension, no cracks, no breaks. So your front brakes, about 20,000 K left on your front brakes, and your shock and your rotors are quite clean, actually, so not scored. That's a good thing. Okay, now coming behind the front left tire, the left outer tie rod right here is tight, and that's critical. Your left sway bar link connected from here to here. Your CV boot is good and dry. Okay, so leak-wise, brake-wise, suspension-wise, I'm not seeing anything of any concern on the rear on the front left, I should say. Now, this is your catalytic converter here, okay? Nothing wrong with it. Big problem is that people are reaching under and they're going cut, and they're going cut, and you've just lost it. Now you got yourself a $1,000 repair job, and it's happening just all the time. If for $100, I will put a catalytic theft protection system on this that'll stop people from stealing it. So it's up to you, though. If you want, I'll do it for $100. If not, and you get the cat cut, you're looking at $1,000. And believe me, this is an easy cat. This is a real easy cat to cut there. Okay, coming to the rear left tire, about 10,000 K on your rear left tire. On your your rear left shock, you see how dry that is? That's important because it's full of oil. If it was leaking, you'd see it dripping all the way down here. And your spring suspension intact, so no issues for suspension-wise on the front, on the rear left side. Again, about 50% tread on all-season radios, so you got lots of tread there for you. All your connection links tight, 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 and tight. Yeah, another connection up here, all tight. Yeah, no concern that I can see on the rear left. You got a 3.2 motor, and these things are rock solid. I mean, they are bulletproof, and I'm not hearing any noise in that whatsoever. In addition to that, you've also got a brand spanking new battery. So, mechanical-wise, I'm not seeing anything of any concern on this car. Yeah. So, that's my estimation of this vehicle. And if you're interested, give me a call, and you can definitely do a test drive. Have a good one.